Hi guys, this is JReneeUnCut. I haven't been on in like a really long time and I'm like really tired and kind of quiet because I don't really want to wake up my kids. Oh my god, no. Anyways, it's been a long time since I've been on because I've been like really busy and stuff, but today was kind of crazy. Just a little bit. And I kind of wanted to talk about it because I get a lot of flack from a lot of people about dealing with people online. People will often say, oh, let the stupid people do what the stupid people do. Don't try to get involved. Don't get your hands dirty. It looks bad for a job. It looks bad for this and bad for that. And I'm like, it looks bad when the other person's being an absolute jackass. Like, I will never understand that logic. And I don't know. I guess I just kind of want to talk about that in relation with kind of what happened. So if you were paying attention at all today, I'm not going to go over it too much because I know a lot of more people pay attention to my stuff than I'm allowed to know are paying attention. Thank you, white collar crime, but that's okay. So, for those of you who were paying attention, it was a little bit crazy, but I dealt with it for a reason, and it has absolutely nothing to do with pride and stuff like most people come about, that kind of thing. For me, I feel like it's really important to deal with these things because who else is going to deal with it? If we just keep letting stuff go by like that and say, oh, well, maybe if I say something, I might lose my job, or maybe that'll make me look less popular, or whatever the hell, then guess what? Everybody gets away with it. And guess what? Nothing changes. So, to all the people who feel like voicing an opinion, which nobody's done that today, thank God. But it's sort of like that trigger mechanism of all the other times that it's gone on. And like my whole life too. So just different people, different situations. And I refuse to be quiet about stuff like that. I mean, in my opinion, from my life experiences, when you're quiet about things, there's one thing about giving people grace, and that's fine. But when people come out and attack you like that, or people are just committing blatant and obvious grotesque behavior, it's like if you just let that go, what has that taught anybody? Nothing. You can't teach anybody something if you're just sitting there letting shit just fly. So I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And I don't really care if that pisses anybody off because I don't really see very many people saying anything about it. So at least there'll be one mouth. Apparently I have a big mouth. I was like, that's more of a compliment than anything. Thank you. But that would be what I will be doing because I refuse to sit by and let that shit fly on my time, like my music talks about. Like seriously. So today was kind of crazy because like I have been kind of on a rampage about this for a year. So as much as I hated that it happened, I was kind of really glad that it did because it allowed me to take like the poignant point that I've been trying to make and be like, see that right there? This just happened, and put it in my forum and actually have the opportunity to show everybody else how to do something about it because if you don't lead by example, how are anybody going to know? And yes, I'm tired, so forgive me. I've been very busy for far too long and I need a vacation. So why I'm doing this, I don't know. Probably because I really have a really strong ethical standard. So I should be sleeping, but instead I'm going to say this to you because it's important. Um, it's been crazy, but I think the thing that really shocked me today, that really kind of shocked me, to be honest, was the fact that the people that were doing the absolute bullying were people that claimed to be well educated and older. Like the Leave It to Beaver era. I was like, wow. You know how we always hear about, Donna Reed and Leave It to Beaver and how it was just so great back then. And I'm like, if it was so great back then why did Leave It to Beaver fail us? Because in case you didn't notice, those are the people who are persecuting my generation. Thank you very much. And I think that's really gross. So I called him on it and I was just like, you're insulting me because of my age. You have absolutely nothing to say in regards to what I'm talking about. If somebody wants to disagree with you, that's fine. they better give you a damn good reason why they disagree with you other than I don't like your face or I'm older than you, so there. And I'm like, and that means nothing to me because you could have sat on your ass and done shit on any level and I could have busted mine. Okay? So age means nothing. I mean, it can mean something. It can mean something. It should mean something, but it doesn't a lot of the times, unfortunately. So it kind of totally sucks. And I mean, at that point, when someone comes at me with the I'm bigger than you, I'm badder than you, I've got more rings in my tree than you, I'm like, you have lost my respect at that moment, you know? Not unless they back that up with a really good explanation as to why that age makes a difference into why they should know more than me, because that would be fine. But there wasn't even that. So it was just, I'm bigger than you, so shut up. And I'm like, okay. Then there came the education thing, which was hysterical. It's really funny how people assume things. Like immediately when they looked at my page, it was an immediate assumption that I was uneducated and that I was too young to vote, which is hysterical. And by the way, thank you, because that means I look good. So thank you. But aside from that, it was insulting because I'm just like, wow, people don't even take the time to find out who's got a brain and who doesn't. They're just snap judgmenting. And to me, that is an automatic sign of a lack of education. I mean, if you're educated, you're going to know that you can't judge a book by its cover. Duh. Like, didn't you learn that old adage like a long time ago? I mean, you don't want to talk about being old. You know, that's kind of been around a while. Anyways, but I don't know. I thought that was kind of crazy. Like, I mean, how do you get that old and that ethically debased to then start calling people freaks of nature and perverts that shouldn't be around children and all sorts of nasty shit? And we all know what that was in relation to. I mean, there's nothing perverted on my page at all. The only thing that I am is transgender. So, gee, I wonder what we're referring to. Hate crime, bitches. Like, it's really sad. But the thing that pissed me off the most was the fact that they thought I was young when they did it. That astounded me because it was like a few people that just dogpiled everything I had to say. They didn't want to listen to anything I was saying or respond to anything I was saying. All they wanted to do was drop insults. And we're talking people in their 60s. Are you kidding me? That is so gross. Like, I am so glad that I am not like that. And I'm so thankful that our generation isn't like that, because we're not. And for everything that everybody's sitting there and saying about my generation and the generation that comes after us and the generation after that, you know, we have our own issues and they have their own issues. But I can tell you what, we don't appreciate that. And it's really funny how people blame, you know, the young people. Hold on, I have to take a drink. Sorry. And I'm not going to edit this, so you can just deal. Sorry. I have like the driest throat ever. I don't even know why I'm telling you this, but probably because it sounds like it's just bad. Like, really, I don't know what happened in here. I went over and I like messed with the light, and I think there was like some pollen or something over there. And then I was like, I'm dying right before I started this thing. And I was like, this is great. And of course it's a 3 a.m. production. Like, I literally think I clicked it at like 3:02 or something when I first started. I was like, oh my gosh, my company is rightly named, to say the least. But anyways, I found it really astounding that they actually thought that I was young, too young to vote, which would mean that I would be under 21. And the way that they were acting was that I was more like a child and that I didn't have any clout or whatever. That's fine. It's not fine, but moving on. The point is, we've been sitting here, you know, Dr. Phil, no hate, everything. Like, I mean, there's a billion people. Let's just not like judge me on just that statement, okay? But there's a billion people that have been fighting for anti-bullying and everything, and there's a lot of adults that are leading the way. But it's really only being talked about how the kids are doing the bullying. Like, that's all I ever hear. I always talk about, as well as my friends, my brilliant educated friends who I love very dearly, thank God, because they've had great influence on me in my life. But we always sit there and talk about the fact that kids don't just become what they are. Kids are taught, okay? Like, you can still teach a kid, and a kid can still be a complete jackass, okay? Like, that's the way kids can be too. But when we're talking about like bullying and stuff that they just should not even understand how to put together, and it's like, grr, 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 grr. Like, I had a kid in a class one time call another student an immigrant. I was like, they were kind of young, and I was like, how do you even know what that word is? Like, you're kind of young. I don't even know if you got to that in history class. Okay, like, seriously, obviously we know where that came from. And then of course I had to deal with it, and I was like, this is sad. Like, you know what I mean? But I don't know, it's just ridiculous. And it's weird because, we keep dealing with the kids. We keep dealing with, the high school, the junior high, the elementary, and the college age people. And we're like, oh, they're bullying, and they're this or they're that. But like, nobody is dealing with the fact that there's a bunch of 60-year-old assholes running around that raised these people. Yep, I said it. Gray hair in their hair and all. I don't know how they missed the wisdom, but they just got the fucking ugly gray hair and no wisdom with it. That's all I gotta fucking say about it. Like, at least my fucking grays, I got some shit to back me up, all right? Like, for real. But like, I don't know what the hell's going on, but seriously. And we've been sitting here dealing with, I think, more the symptom than the problem. Because, we can talk to the kids all day long, and we can talk to whoever, but as soon as they go traipsing over to grandma's house, grandma's a bigot. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, thanks a lot. So, and kids love their grandparents. Like, oh, grandma, grandpa, I love them. Let's learn. And so then they sit down and they want to hear about all the old stories about grandma and grandpa, and like, when he went uphill both ways, and when he fought in who knows what war, when he got punched in the nose, or whatever the hell happened. You know what I'm saying? Or when grandma baked her first cake. I don't know. Like, we all learn from our grandparents. We love our grandparents. It's like the thing to do. So like, when you sit there and think about it, I'm getting hounded and insulted for my youth by an old person, okay? Somebody who's older, like a grandparent, somebody who's supposed to be a leader and wise. And like, have we dealt with that society? I don't think we have. And I have nothing against old people. I love old people so much. Love, love, love. Like, when I wanted to become a nurse, that was who I wanted to go help, was the elderly. It's like my thing. So for me, I was like, oh my God. Like, you always get like a cranky person here or there because people are people, but I don't know. Apparently there was a drastic shift in, the generations between like the 1930s and the 1950s. I'm not really sure what happened. Don't really care. I mean, I kind of care, because then my brain wants to go down that psychological, scientific rat lab experiment bullshit. And then I have to stop myself, because I'll be like, Sheldon needs to go park it in the corner. But anyways, but aside from that part, my whole thing is like, wow, I think we're doing great by dealing with the kids, but I don't think we're going to get anywhere when they go home and that's all that they're hearing. And I don't think we're going to get anywhere when they go to grandma and grandpa's house and that's all that they're hearing, because grandma and grandpa never grew up, because somehow they found an excuse not to. And they also further found an excuse to find the means of social media, which that's fantastic. But they're using it to berate and insult young people. And one of the first things I said to them was, isn't it your job as the wise person to teach who you consider foolish? To which I just got further insulted. And I was like, let's just cast pearls before, I don't need to quote it, what Bible verse that is. But like, the reality is it's like, aren't you supposed to be the person telling me why I'm wrong? Because they said it was my responsibility to tell them, because they were older and they didn't have to prove shit to me. And I'm like, isn't that backwards? Why do you want the young people to tell the old people how it is? Like, oh, by all means, I will. And you won't like it very much, because I got a lot of shit that needs to be corrected. And, so if you want to give me that responsibility, let's go for it. But you ain't gonna like it very much. And for the record, I'm not I haven't lived however many years. Like, you think that I'm wise? Like, I'm only as wise as I can possibly be, that either God's divinely given me or that I've learned through experience. And I only have 27 years of experience. Of course, somebody who has 64 years of experience has a lot more experience than me, and that's fabulous. I'd love to hear about it. Kindly, please, not have it thrown in my face, like, with no backup. You know what I mean? Like, if you could say, I know what you're thinking. I thought that at the same age, but I've lived this long, and let me tell you what ultimately happens. What ultimately happens is it starts like this, and then it goes like this. But it's all deceptive or whatever, you know, because sometimes life's like that, and you might think one thing when you're younger. I know I've had my opinions change. And, like, you'll find out that things aren't really what you think that they are. So that would have been fine. I mean, I think that's great. I think that everybody should talk like that. They should be open and honest about, you know, what they think. And if somebody's youth is blinding them, that's fine. Feel free to tell them, but tell them nicely. Like, don't, and I'm not just talking about tone. I mean, like, have a reason for why you say that. Not just because you're older, so therefore you're right, and they're wrong. Even if maybe the younger person is right. I mean, I've met some brilliant 5-year-old kids. I mean, I think my daughter has schooled me multiple times on how to do things. I mean, she's reminded me of stuff I forgot. Like, I needed to get something and I forgot about it. It's like, Mommy did it. And I'm like, oh yeah, huh, thanks. You know what I mean? Or they'll come up with new ways to do things. And that's another thing that bothers me is it's like we get so stuck on teaching people how to do things. You must do this math problem this way. You must learn this way. Bitch, please, if the kid's fucking learning, be fucking thankful. Like, don't tell them what to do. All right? If it's working and it's not going to cause some mad problem down the line, leave him alone. If he wants to put his little iPod in his ear and that shuts him the fuck up because he's got ADD or ADHD, leave him alone. I have ADHD. Leave me alone. You know what I mean? It's like there's so many rules that are so not necessary, all because somebody has some stick up their ass for no reason. And it's like, do you have a reason for why that shouldn't be allowed other than it shouldn't be allowed? Because if I can give you scientific evidence as to why it should be, and you refuse to change your opinion, which I have met those people in the education system, thank you, who refuse to change, because that'll never happen. And I'm thinking, wow, that's scary. All right. And that's the other thing. Like, they wanted to insult me for being an educator and for not listening. Like, I listen more than anybody I know. I ask for advice and I'm refused it. Like, this is hysterical, but that is the existence of my life on about 10,000 levels. And I'm like, wow, people want people to do things on their own. Okay, that's ludicrous. You should be thankful I'm asking for help and asking your opinion and your advice versus like sticking my finger in the air and telling you to go fuck yourself. I'm actually doing what Proverbs calls wisdom, and then you're going to get insulted for it. But you know, blessed are the persecuted, I guess, right? Because that's just the way it goes. You would think people want to do things the right way, but not really. I think people just want to bitch about everything. And I don't know. In case you guys can't tell, I've kind of had it up to here with the bullshit. So I'm just going to tell it like it is. It's not like I don't already do that, but like normally I'm a little bit nicer. Yeah, no. Fuck everything nasty. I'm done. Okay? So if you don't like what I say, don't listen to my shit. That's all I got to say about it. I'm not going to apologize for jack shit unless I've done something that is ethically wrong on accident, which I would hope to God I would never do. Yay, hair is fun. I'm like, let me move this out of my face, but then I'm wiping it the other way because God help me, I can't figure this dimensional thing out. Anyways, it was really crazy because they insulted me as a teacher. Like, I'm like, okay, so now I'm being insulted for being young. Then I'm being insulted. Oh, they're one of the ones that are raising our youth. It's not like I haven't heard this shit my whole life. So I'm just kind of like, oh, here we go. You know, and I'm like, you know, that's really not okay. If you don't like the job I do, go do it your damn self. Okay? It's just ridiculous. It's like, I don't see you getting off your ass and raising the youth. Oh, because you're too selfish? Or what's the problem? Because normally that's what goes hand in hand. I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying that's normally what happens. I'm not going to lie. Normally they don't want to deal with it. But they expect you to deal with it and to deal with it in this way. But they can't last 5 minutes alone with a kid and know what the fuck to do. So I don't know. If you want to formulate an opinion, by all means, grab my shoes, put them on, and start walking. Okay? And let's see you go. Let's see how you do. Because then you have a right. Until then, shut your fucking mouth. That's the way I feel about it. That's the way that it really should be. Really, I mean, you can talk about your opinions, but if you're going to be a jackass, then be prepared to walk in those shoes. If I tell you off, I'm prepared to walk in your shoes. Okay? Seriously. or I have walked in your shoes. I'm not going to sit there and be a complete jerk to you if I can't do it. That's ridiculous. You shouldn't be a jerk anyways, but still, you know. Teachers get wrapped out bad a lot, and it's really sad because you know what? First of all, like as far as being in the education system, people don't understand what goes on, and it's not a lot of the teachers' fault. Yes, you have good teachers and you have bad teachers, okay? I have students that, you know, love certain teachers and can't stand other teachers. I was the same way as a kid. There's good ones that put a lot of work in, and there's ones that just want a paycheck. Gee, doesn't that sound familiar? Kind of sounds like society, right? Kind of sounds like everybody else we know. Wow, no different, but you know, let's just stereotype. Sure, why not? So that's just understandable, okay? Now, what people don't understand is we live in a world where we had No Child Left Behind passed, and that's fine. It's a great concept. The problem is, this is the problem. And now I'm going on record for talking about education problems. I'm like, watch me get plowed down by the government in like 5 seconds now. I actually really, really like the concept. And I don't think this is what happens. It's kind of hard to explain. And I'm going to try to like summarize it so it's not really obnoxious because it's really detailed to the point where most people have to go get masters and doctorates to deal with it. And it's miserable. Like, everything is about a budget. Again, it all comes down to the dollar. And that's really sad, you know, because we've cut programs like art and a whole bunch of stuff, which I'm going to talk about in 2 seconds. It's probably going to be a really long blog, but I really don't give a shit. And all that kind of stuff. So it's really interesting because, like, No Child Left Behind is fabulous. It came up with standards and objectives that teachers are supposed to teach so that kids would stay on track. That is great. The problem then became it got routed into funding. If they get this percentage or that percentage, and then it turns into the funding game to who's going to get the money and who's not going to get the money. And if they pass this much or don't pass this much, then they don't get this or that. That is where we went really, really wrong. No Child Left Behind should not be at all related to the funding, because that's where the teachers then start getting crunched by supervisors who are like, we've got to get this funding because they need it. They're not lying. They're not being greedy. They're not being gross. It's not going to their paycheck, okay? It's because they need it for the programs. And so it's literally like this dogfight over cash, and then like nobody learns anything. It's really sad. And then the supervisors like to come in, or, you know, superintendents, like to come in and then tell the teachers how to teach, which some know what they're doing and some don't. Let's be real, okay? Just like there's good teachers and bad teachers, there's good teachers and good supervisors, and there's bad teachers and bad supervisors, okay? Like, I don't need to kiss anybody's ass, so I'm just going to say it. The reality is, that's the way it is. And they start telling you what to do, and then the kids don't learn because you have to do a certain boxed standard. Like, this is a super big problem. Like, a lot of schools, they say, this is what you're going to teach. Here's the book, and it's all lined up with the standards. Now go. Do you know how bored my kids were? They were like going to die. And then the stupid thing is that they dumb the educational material down. Like, they literally took Homer's Odyssey, dumbed it down, and bored the shit out of everybody. Like, I was reading it and I was like, I'm going to die. Like, this is miserable. And the kids were like, this sucked. And I said, yeah, well, you know what? Don't worry about it. Go read the real book because you'll like it. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, go get the real thing. This thing stinks. Like, you have kids complaining about the material. And then when I told them and showed them some of the other one, they loved it. They're not stupid, okay? Let them learn. And if it's too much for the kid, then adjust it from there. Like, what the hell, people? Like, people just want to systemize everything and mechanicalize everything, and they don't want to do the work. They don't want to know the children on an individual basis. And I've got in classrooms and had children's lives change in one day, and that's not because I'm fabulous, okay? It's because I asked them what the hell was going on and why they weren't doing their work. Why were you trying to run out the classroom? The kid's been in school for 6 months and has a reputation for it. The teacher leaves it in my substitute teacher notes. And then the kid wants to like change their life. It tells me that they can't even think at home because they've got 10 other family members that are like causing chaos. And then now they want to be a teacher, and now they're sitting down and working, and now they're doing whatever after 8 hours in a class with one person. Excuse me? That should be impossible. And it's not because I'm Superman. It's because you got to listen and you got to do your job. And when you don't, then there you go. And that goes on all levels and all people of all ages. Okay. So it just astounds me, but there are a lot of really, 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 really good teachers. Lots of really good teachers, and it gets screwed up because of a system, because everybody has to teach the same material. And let's be real, like some people might be able to teach great that way, and then the kids learn excellent, and then some people might not. Like me, I probably don't teach that well from that. I'm like, give me a book and I can rip it up. Give me a book, I will give it to the kids, blah, blah, blah. Like, and they'll enjoy it, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And like, they will learn every standard known to man. Or let me create like weird ass projects that about stuff that they like, and they learn it and they love it. Like, that's the way that I do things, you know? But it's a little more avant-garde. So, but the thing is, we are really, 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 really streamlining things and stereotyping people. And it isn't just my generation. And we're not dealing with the problem, because I think the problem really is at this point is it's still stemming from the older generation, because I will personally tell you that the most persecution I've ever seen and ever received personally has been from people 50 up right now. And when I was younger, minus the age accordingly, okay? That was the worst. The worst, other than like elementary school. But I think everybody gets that. Like, elementary school's crazy. For anybody who ever goes there, it's like, oh my God, which is all of us. So seems like things kind of pan out once you get to junior high and high school. I don't know. But at least they did for me. High school was awesome. I didn't have a problem with that. That was great. You know, you get your own identity and shit. But I don't think there's anything you can do about elementary school. It's just rough because you're all growing at the same time. But the thing that made it rougher was the fact that we have a lot of parents that are teaching kids really, really bad behavior. And it was evident. Like, I knew the parents that taught those kids that stuff, and they normally had really crappy home lives with really crappy parents that were really bigoted or whatever the hell they were, or abusive. It was gross. And most of the time when we were kids, that's what everybody talked about. Abuse. Okay? Like, seriously, people were getting abused left and right about bullshit. It's like a common thing. And does anybody do anything about it? No. You try to go and get help. Did anybody do anything about it for people that I knew? No. Just let it continue. So then kids can't do anything other than survive. And then they're taking in this information and trying to function and getting in fights and trying to develop their identity. And we expect them to not bully people. Amazing. Okay? Bloody amazing. Are you kidding? So I think we need to start a new program, and I think it needs to be directed to all of these people who are running the country. And I'm not speaking about the government, but I mean the entire 50s up generation, because that's the generation, you know, that's running most of the stuff right now in the job force. If you look at like the economical statistical crap, but I'll spare you, and like who's running media and all that kind of stuff, those are the people. Those are our main influential people right now. And it's not like I haven't had this conversation with people for 5 years. And it's not like I haven't had people from that generation, the same generation, that were like, yeah, this is a problem. A big one, okay? Because there's a lot of really wise people too. And we need those wise people to step up and start helping out, because this is ridiculous. And there needs to be something done about that. So I don't know what yet, but I'm definitely going to go on record for saying that, because we have a problem with bullying, period. But I have never seen such a thing, like, to that extent. Like, if you would have told me that people who were close to retirement were going to get on Twitter and start picking on someone that they thought could potentially even be underaged, a child, and start calling them a freak of nature, and start calling them, what else, a pervert who shouldn't be around children and stuff. I mean, they said that, I think it was after they knew I was a teacher, but I think they might have said the freak of nature thing before. I can't really remember. It really doesn't matter. But they were already dropping insults at me prior to knowing my age and thinking and distinctly telling me that they thought I was young and not old enough to vote. So that's a little scary to me, because right now we have a lot of kids committing suicide because of bullying. And lately it's been blamed on the students. Like, oh, well, he was picked on a lot in school for being gay, or whatever he was picked on for, she was picked on for, whatever. I'm thinking of a particular situation right now, but, and that's very well true, okay, because that stuff goes on. I had to squash that when I was still teaching too, in the middle of the class. Literally, it was awful. Like, we had this one kid, and he was gay, and he said something, and the other kids were like, shut the F up, and I believe that was the exact language they used, because you're just nothing but a word I will not repeat, blah, 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 related to negative derogative connotation for homosexual people. And I was like, whoa. I was like, you don't talk to him like that. Are you kidding me? And so we had to deal with that in the middle of 36 kids, because heaven forbid I'm going to let anybody out of that class thinking that was okay to do. But anyways, they're blaming it just solely on the bullying in the kids in school. But let's put it this way. I just sat down today, and thank God I'm an adult with a stable mindset who's been bullied my entire life and has known how to handle it. Okay? Because really, had I not been, could you even imagine? Good God. And the thing that's crazy about it is, they're like grandparents, and they're over here bullying someone that they consider a kid. Well, hold on. All these kids committing suicide, getting bullied for the same things that I'm getting bullied about when they think I'm a kid? Well, guess where it's coming from? Elders. What the hell? That is not okay. You should be wise by now, motherfuckers. What is going on? So, no. Okay? I think we need to reevaluate things. My best friend, Panda Mike, we call him Panda Mike. I think I might have said that in here before, but he's Mike Cornell if anyone wants to go stalk him, but he's going to kill me now. But anyways, we were just talking about that and the destruction of the family unit. And a lot of people don't like to talk about God, and I don't really give a shit. This is my page. That's what I do. But, Jehovah set things up so that it would be like Jehovah's in charge of the family, and then the husband is in charge of the rest of the family, and not in like a really controlling sort of way. It's like a directorate way. And he's supposed to be the person who is getting his shit together and taking care of business, not running out of the family, not cheating on the family, not walking out, not paying what he's supposed to pay and caring for his family and abandoning his family. Well, good God, like, what do we see now? Nothing but that, okay? And I don't care how good of a wife you are. Guess what? It still happens, okay? Because let me tell you, we'll leave it at that. But that's the reality for many women, and it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they do. So when you've got a bunch of broken homes and a bunch of broken-hearted children, and then you've got these elderly people who are grandma and grandpa, and we go on over to grandma and grandpa's house, and then they're sitting there bullying you because you know what? You're a freak of fucking nature because you're gay and you shouldn't be around kids, you little pervert. Then you know what? Gee, good God, I wonder why the world is fucked up. And everyone acts like they don't have a clue. Gee, I wonder. Is it really that hard, you guys, to figure it out? Because really, I think everybody just likes to sit there and be angry and pissed and yell about nothing and yell at people and just be completely projectorate and just take everything out on people and do nothing to lead change. It's like, if you want to complain, feel free. Just make sure you do something about it. I mean, I complain all the time. I'm bitching right now. But you know what? I'm fucking trying to do something about it. And I'm going to continue for the rest of my life. What are they doing? I mean, the moment that I bring up the law It's, I didn't want to go to law school. Give me evidence. And I'm like, well, dumbass, excuse me. But if you would have gone to law school, you would understand that what I'm giving you is kind of sort of evidence, like in contrary with what you're talking about. Like the law backs up that what you said was evidence. But heaven forbid I take that person to law school twice. Okay. Oh God. Anyways, it's like just read, okay? I mean, I supplied you the links. I'm telling you that there's like all of this crap that could happen to you for what you just said. Be thankful you got me, because of all people, I'm kind of nice. I might call you on your shit, but like I give people chances. I'm like, come on now, like knock it off. Don't make me do this. If I actually like go after your ass, let's say that you've really fucking earned it, okay? Because really, I know there's a lot of people that like to say a lot of shit. But yeah, that's a bunch of bullshit, okay? Because I give people way too many chances. Now it's like I'll deal with it, but I give you chances. But if you're just gonna insist on being stupid, there's nothing I can do about it. You have. That's why there are laws, really, and a justice system, because some people just gotta learn the hard way for some weird ass reason. But anyways, my whole thing is it's like just learn from it. If you're wrong, own it. Be like, oops, I'm sorry. You're right. Okay, you know what? I'll back it up. You don't even have to really apologize. Just by be like, okay, you win. You could even do that. And then just, chalk it in your memory bank and be like, hey, I learned something new today. Never do that shit again. You know what I mean? You don't have to admit to me that you're wrong. I don't give a shit. I'm not looking for an apology. I think you should to other people. Seriously. But no matter what, you should just grow, because I don't know how you can live 60 some odd years on planet Earth and treat people like that, especially coming from the Don Reed, generation and the Leave It to Beaver. Will be, come on, like we've been over this, like it's like the ongoing joke with our generation, but like. And everybody, everyone that's doing it are the same, and they're the same exact people. That's the thing that cracks me up. The same people who are like, oh, the world was so wonderful back then. I'm like, was that because your mother kissed your ass and acted like Donna Reed and let you do whatever the fuck you wanted? Because the reality is, you treat us like crap, tell us it's our fault, even though you're the ones who raised us, and then turn around and tell us that was when the world was great, and yet we don't see you acting anything like that. That's kind of scary. I don't know if everyone's just living in a delusion or what the fuck is going on with people, but wake up, motherfuckers, because you're contributing. I think actually, if I remember correctly, Kimmy and I did a rampage about this on what is that thing that we do? We're dead for 2 weeks before hell broke loose. But we plan on starting it up again. We've been planning on starting it up again. We're trying to figure out a way to do it because we're all over the place. But what is that? The gay agenda and the what is it? Fuck! I can't even remember my own shit. The liberal, what is it? The flaming liberals. Dear God, how do I not remember my own stuff? This is sad. Because I do too many things. But I think we were ranting about that then, because it's like, what the hell is this shit? So it's almost coming around full circle now. Coming around the fourth quarter track. Anyways, ignore me. It's way too fucking late. But it astounds me. I'm sorry. It astounds me. I don't know how people can act like that. I don't know how adults can act debase and insult children and commit hate crimes like that at that age and have not learned. And I think that is I don't have words. I think, Dr. Phil, if you're listening, and everybody else, because I ain't dogging you guys out. I love you guys. You know that. I think we have to rethink things. And I think we have to start dealing with that. Because I mean, that's where I get it. I don't get it from people my age. People my age typically support me. Or people close to my age, above, below. It's the elder people that keep stomping on us, and unfortunately, they're the ones who are controlling our jobs. They're the ones who are controlling whether we get hired or not. Gee, I wonder why, some of us can't get hired. Oh dear God, did I just say that too? Yes, I did. I just did. And I'm serious. You have to think about that, okay? It's an ecosystem, and if one animal's over chomping another, we got a problem, Houston. Seriously. So I think we need to think about that. I think we need to come up with something. the laws are being broken even within the court systems. Because guess what? They're the same generation. So guess what that means? I hate to say it, but I've seen it done personally. So again, we need to come up with something because the laws are not being taught properly and these things are going on and the laws are being violated as well. So obviously it surpasses the legal system. We have an ethical and moral issue that is causing vast harm. And I think that we need to deal with that. I've been bitching for forever about cyber media being a problem. Not only is it destroying my life right now, as I have been saying for years, which nobody would believe, and thank fuck that the government has said what it's said about China hacking in and Korea hacking in, because that has been my problem for forever. Okay? And everyone was like, you're crazy. And I'm like, get a fucking book. Read something. If I'm crazy, then so was Steve Jobs. All right, son of a bitch, because really, read a book. Okay? And you can know what a hacking log looks like for yourself instead of calling me a whack job. But anyways, or why would they care about you? Gee, I don't know. Maybe because I've driven millions of dollars into the pockets of other people? Fuck. Think. It's not rocket science. Free money. Wow. Woo. You know what I mean? I'm sure it'll continue to happen until shit gets stomped out. But this is the reality. Cyber shit's killing everybody. Not only is it killing people who are trying to make art or business, because literally my business got stomped into the ground because somebody decided that they wanted to override all my hundreds of dollars of software that I purchased to build my own business, thank you very much, so that I can only read it and not write it. Thank you very much. So that is a bunch of crime in and of itself. Not only has a bunch of that gone on, okay, and that goes on for a lot of people, all right? It's not just me, for everybody out there who thinks I'm an arrogant prick. I'm just the one who's got the balls to stand up and say, fuck you, I'm going to take it on, as well as a few other people out there that I really, really admire. But still, this happens a lot. And some of us can't figure, it takes a while to figure out that it's even going on. That's the sucky part. Like, there was stuff of mine that was taken from 10 years ago that I didn't even know about until like 6 months ago. And I was like, what the fuck? This has been going on that long? I had no clue. But it has been, these kinds of things happen. So cyber-wise, god dang, sorry, I'm not really good at this dimension thing, but cyberwise is a problem on the business front, which the government's been talking about, and I am so grateful, and they're right on par, they're right on the money. This is a big deal, and we need to deal with it because it is screwing up businesses, it is screwing up people's lives, and let me explain how. It's like this. We've become so dissociated as a society. We've gotten to a point where we sit there and it's like, you know what? And I was just talking to Martina about this. Bad Religion Tina, you can look her up. She's one of my hot wives. One of the flaming liberals. My asexual harem. That's the only kind of harem I'm ever gonna have. But anyways, the reality is we were just talking about it because we had lost contact for a chunk of time. And I thought it was just because there was so much drama going on. I didn't want to stress anybody out, so I wasn't going to bother them about it because I'm obnoxious like that. And she's like, I just thought you were busy. If I only knew, because I was like, well, you haven't texted me and I was like, damn it, here we go again. And it's one of those things where we constantly rely on technology to let us know how people are doing. We think, well, there's all this technology. We're so connected. If they really wanted to talk to us, they would. They must be busy. We don't want to bother them. We've relied and put manners on technology. And we've relied on a computer to replace a human being. Here's the reality. All it takes is one good dick of a hacker to block all your calls, all your text messages, to alter your logs, to hack into the company bases and alter that shit too. All right? Disable your SIM chips and your 911 calls. Because all this shit's happened to me. Thanks. Got the proof. Hard copy. All right? That's all it takes. Then they can go into your computer and do whatever the fuck they want. That's all that it takes. And then they build pages over your pages using different programs. All right? So that you see one thing and everybody else sees another thing and you don't even know what's going on in the world. And if they really want to be a massive prick, they can go and insult shit in every single little packet of internet that comes through. And then lodge it for your little convenience in a cache on a proxy server. I think we all need to get educated on this technology shit because it's really bad. Like, you could have one dick controlling the universe if you're not careful, and we already know that. And the people that need to know that, duh, like they already know that. But I mean, for like just the common folk, like, if you wanted to do something like that, it's very easy to do. So then what happens? Say nobody can get a hold of anybody. Say maybe there's a real problem. And then everyone's like, oh, but they would get a hold of us. Yeah, no, they're not going to be able to get a hold of you. They can't. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Or they might be calling, but it's not going through because it's being intercepted. That's what happens in a technological environment, and yet we rely on technology. And the thing is it's caused isolation. Back in the good old days of like 10 years ago, which was not that long ago, what happened when somebody didn't answer for a day or two? Motherfucker, you went over the house and banged on the door and been like, bitch, are you dead? Like, why are you not picking up the phone? Why haven't I seen you? Like, that's what we used to all do. Like, people didn't get on YouTube and Skype to hang out, which I still think is awesome. Oh my God, I would die without it right now because everybody's everywhere. So therefore, what option do I have until I can round up folks? Do you know what I mean? But the thing is it's like, that wasn't how it was done. What happened was we used the phone to be like, hey, do you want to hang out? Okay, bye. And then we ran over or drove over and then hung out and talked there. And that's so different than what we're doing now. And it's like now it's so dangerous because really we've isolated ourselves. We don't even touch people anymore. I don't even understand people unless I touch people. And that might sound creepy to you, but like, I'm an aura person. I'm a shaman person. Like, if I can't put my hand on you, I don't know who the fuck you are. I don't understand anything about you. It's like, I'm only going to be reading your little, resume until I see you in person. And I can be like, high five or whatever. That, people have kind of demonized that. And it's like, the reality is, how do you really know somebody? We've given away our nonverbal communication and, by not being there. You can see this, but you can't see this entirely. You know what I mean? Because there's a certain energy that you get, a certain exchange that occurs between two people when they're in the flesh. And yet we're giving that away for a technological world because we got to work. Well, why are we working so much? Why the fuck are we working so much? We don't need to work this much. This is fucking ridiculous. The reality is, I would have been just fine had people not shitted all over my crap. I'd be making a lot of money right now. God damn it, I'd be making millions. And everybody knows that. Thanks. We'll leave it at that because I don't want to get too cranky. But because I have 2 kids that I got to feed as a single mom. So if you really want to get on my bad side, that's it right there. Okay? I don't really care about my money, but motherfucker, I care about my money because I got to feed kids, okay? That's why I care about my money. So I find people who can, stomp all over that absolutely and utterly debase. That's just my opinion. Based off of a set of ethics. Thank you. That doesn't, kiss the ass of the green dollar bill. But that's okay, live your life the way you deem. Just you won't have my support on that at all. None of us need to work this hard. We're working for nothing. But see, that's the problem. You've got companies who used to deliver back to you in the 1950s. They had to work for their money, for your money. It was a lot easier to be a single mom back then. People would be like, wah. It's like, no, think. You had the companies bringing your milk to your door. You had the companies bringing the clothes to the door. You had all this. You know what I got to do? I got to pack up my kids, pack up all my crap that I don't want to get stolen if somebody breaks in my house, pack up the universe, diapers, shit, everything, just to go get a Starbucks if I wanted to, okay? No. And then you got to get all that, and then you got to go to the store, and then you got to try to, fit 2 kids in a car by yourself, because fuck me that anybody helps anybody these days, okay? You don't get no help. You do it alone. And then you got to put water jugs and whatever else you need to buy for the week. And do you know how much kids eat? Is anybody awake out there? I know it's early. But think, okay? Because it's about to be too late. People don't understand how close the world is to just completely... because of the fact that people are so fucking selfish. Okay? It's disgusting. And the people that actually give a shit and listen to me are like, wait. And then they see it. Okay? Because I'm living goddamn proof. And as much as I hate everything that I'm going through, let me tell you something. I'm really glad I went through it because now I know what to go fight for. Now I know what to go take down. Contract law, these companies, do you realize that out here you have to, and I'm not going to say location now because I don't want to get fucking hammered, but if you want to go to the emergency room, you're signing away like outside of the emergency room rights. You agree to do whatever the doctor says inside and outside of the emergency room in relation to whatever he diagnoses. What if you have a lifelong problem and you don't agree with what he says? Well, whoops, motherfuckers, guess what? That's not okay. The fact that we have to sign away our rights to lawsuits, our rights to justice for arbitration. No. If you owe me a goddamn fortune, you're going to fucking pay it. But that's what we have to do to even get a security system in your house to protect yourself. That's what we're calling capitalism? No, that's extortion. Okay? A lot of people don't know this, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. My own parents didn't know this, so I was kind of flabbergasted that I knew it. But, do you know that the companies are districted for where you live? So, for example, say AT&T UVerse would like to service your city. They're not allowed to because I'm not saying these are the exact people, but it's set up like this because only Verizon and Time Warner are allowed in there, and AT&T and whoever else, Charter or whatever, they're only allowed over here. And there's all these divisional lines. I've been told this by multiple companies, and that's so that they all get a chance to make money. Well, doesn't that just suck? Because what if I really like AT&T? And I really fucking can't stand some of those other companies, which I really do like AT&T UVerse. Thank you very much. Everywhere I go, I can't get the son of a bitch. But anyways, where's capitalism? You know what I'm trying to say? And these are like state regulations and things like that and districting that's going on that is really violating freedom. And who's making these decisions? Well, the companies. It's like, dude, if your product sucks, then get a better product. I'm sorry your company tanked. Whoops. But they're killing enterprise, killing the stock market, killing everything with this bullshit. And it's not that hard to fix the economy, okay? Quit outsourcing the jobs and bring them home. Good God. You know how many of us single moms could sit on the fucking phone and do the whole little, oh, your internet's not doing what now in the middle of the night where our kids are sleeping? Jeez, could you imagine what would happen to the economy? Instead of paying these people less than they deserve, you could bring the jobs here, pay the people what they do deserve, and then we wouldn't have a big deficit in jobs. It is literally that simple. But geez, motherfuckers, I'm just a kid, right? What the fuck do I know? That's right. You guys are older than me. Therefore, you're smarter than me. But, well, you know what, motherfuckers? How is that working for you? In the words of Dr. Phil, how is it working for you? It's not. Look at what you've caused. So when you want to take a shit on me about what I know, and any other person my age about what we know, or anybody under the age of whatever you consider acceptable to have a brain, think again, because you haven't been too successful so far. And the ones who have been successful have busted severe ass and taken a lot of persecution for it from the same people. It's like ridiculous. But it's a problem. It's rampant. It's rampant in our news media. It's rampant online. It's rampant everywhere. And like I said, I have really thick skin, so I could really give a shit less. Do you understand what I'm saying? About what happens with me. Like, I give a shit about other people. You can ask any of my friends. That's how I operate. Like, I might not deal with somebody or deal with a problem, but the moment it affects my kid, I'm on it. You know what I mean? Or my friends. No, I'm on it. Like, I don't let people hurt people that... I shouldn't let them hurt me either, but I'll just take it more than the average bear. But the thing is it's like... Now what's happened to me, so I can actually say, hey, look at this example. Now let's do something about it. That's the whole reason I did what I did today for everybody who, likes to look down their nose and think, oh, maybe she has just a temper problem, or maybe she just, wants attention, or, oh my God, are you kidding me? No. If you're going to give me attention, make sure it's over something worth my time that benefits society. Because really, I'm not drama, but I'm going to tell you right now that I will deal with the drama that gets put on my doorstep until it disappears. Much to every evil person's chagrin. Yay! But that's okay. I'm not going to let that shit fly. And the whole point is that is going on everywhere to a lot of kids, to a lot of other young adults or middle-aged adults, and it's not okay. And specifically the fact that it was directed to what they thought was a youth is just debase. And it isn't like this is the first time. Like, oh, they're just some enigma on Twitter. Okay, well, go click a few trends and see what the fuck is running afoot, because you will soon find that that is mostly what you find. And so that is another area that really needs to be hammered down. Yes, we have freedom of speech, but when you're hammering people like that and being nasty, no. There needs to be caps on that. And I'm not capping free speech. You can speak your mind, but you don't have to abuse people. There's a difference between speaking your mind and being absolutely abusive, Like, I can absolutely think you're a complete bloody idiot. And I can even say that. But you better have a damn good reason why. If you give me a good reason why I'm an idiot, I might say touche and you're right. I'm an idiot. But you start picking on people for no reason, you lose all respect. And you teach people nothing. And it becomes very evident that you never had the intent to teach anyone anyways. Your intent was to elevate yourself and insult other people. And that's very debase. And I don't know what it's going to take. Well, I mean, I know what I think it takes. I think it takes a big whopping dose of Jesus juice. And I know people don't like to hear that, but tough shit. It's like you can believe in whatever you want to believe in, and that's fine. And put it at this at least. A religious foundation, a moral, ethical, religious foundation, a higher power. I mean, even Alcoholics Anonymous teaches you that, right? Or any sort of anonymous. It's like you have to have a higher power to they said they didn't care if it was the doorknob. That was funny. But still, it's like it doesn't matter what it is so long as you're responsible to somebody else other than your fucking self. Because when you decide to get selfish, who's going to stop you? You know what I mean? So, I don't know. It's something to think about. We have a lot of destroyed families, and we have a lot of unethical people running about doing unethical things. And I think we really need to bring it back. We've cut God and religion and art and everything out of school and just out of society. And I honestly think it has done a severe detriment worldwide. Like, I know it has. You don't have to believe in my God. The point is just taking religion out, period, not allowing that to be a focus within science, not allowing that to be a focus within school. It's like creating so much stress around it. Like, oh no, you can't do that and you can't do this because that's a violation of... Come on, you guys. Look at what we've created, We're all responsible. I've promoted things in my youth that I changed my mind on. And I'm still young. And I'm sure I'm going to look back on this 50 years from now and be like, okay, I could have done without that. You know what I mean? Like, there's going to always be something that you grow. Let's hope. Oh, dear God, let's hope there's always something that you grow and evolve and change through. Like, that's why I refuse to be ashamed about my youth. If I said something stupid, cool. At least I'm trying. And at least eventually I'll be able to grow and then say that was stupid. And then that means that I even grew more. So you know what? Praise be. Because literally... If you didn't say something stupid 25 years ago, then you ain't trying. And I know there's a lot of other people promoting that, and I'm very, very, very thankful for that. And there's a lot of really great people that are standing up and doing so many things, but I feel like we're being stomped out still. And I feel like we need to come up with something. And don't look at me. I don't know what it is yet. Trust me, when I figure it out, I'll let you know. But like I said, I think it's more of a spiritual thing. It's like we have to teach people how to be spiritual again. Because even other people have said, like, there was people on Twitter talking about, anti-bullying, and people were against it, and they were like, oh, you're such a pussy because you don't want to get punched, or you don't want this. And then someone was like, dude, what happened? They were like, the day that our generation starts saying that we're a bunch of wusses because we're advocating not beating the shit out of the people is the day that we have a severe problem. And that day is today. So we need to adjust some things. We need to bring art back in school. I mean, you can teach with art. Why do you think you have so many autistic kids that can't make it? They learn artistically. Autistic kids learn artistically. Let's hope nobody in New York's got to say that one. But you know what I mean? Like, that's the way it is. They really do. A lot of them do. I mean, there's some that don't. They're like rote learners or whatever. But I mean, my kids, my oldest daughter has autism. My youngest, I'm sure, will be diagnosed with it at the rate that it's going. But the only thing that, they like to understand things on an adult level. They like to be explained things to, like, not, I'm older than you, so shut up. You want my kid to go on a tirade? Are you kidding? No, it's, don't do this because this will lead to this, and this will lead to this, and this will lead to this. Oh, okay. What a concept. Teach them a life skill, dear God. But anyways, that plus, being artistic and being able to express yourself and being able to be different. Why are we trying to streamline everybody? Come on. Down to the education system. We wonder why these kids are snapping the fuck out. Because they're being forced to be little robots. Like, I can see it. Can anybody else see it? Everybody I know that are my friends can see it. The people that I actually consider family, those are my friends. They see it, and they're like, damn, we're all trying to do something about it. So I think the thing is we all need to come together, literally. Rich, poor, socialite, non-socialite. Like, fuck that shit. I'm kind of really sick of it, okay? We all need to come together and fix it because it's affecting everybody. And there's a lot of innocent people getting really, really hurt. And like I said, this happened to me, but this could have easily had been somebody else today. And then that person could have not have been strong. And that person could have went and committed suicide because who knows what their grandparents said to them. And who knows what their dad or mom said to them that could have pushed them over the edge. Don't even add the kids at school. Because the closest people to you are the ones that tear you up the most. So people who are family members, you really need to think about that, because you could be the whole reason that you destroy somebody else's life. And you need to hold yourself responsible for that. Take your job very seriously. Whether you're a brother, sister, parent, grandparent, uncle, aunt, be there for your family, and don't be a jackass, good God. But anyways, I've talked long enough. It's been an hour. I didn't think I was going to talk that long. But you know what? I haven't talked on here since like October or November, some bullshit. And I've gone through more growth in the last I can't even say that word right now. It's like growth at like 4 a.m. Forget it. It's gonna bring out the Texan thing. Anyways, I've gone through more stuff that I could ever imagine in the last like 6 months of my life. And I've gone through more growth than I could have ever imagined. Like, I looked back and I was like, God, wow, what a state was I in just like 3 months ago. And I'm so thankful. And I think that is so cool. And my wish is for everybody to be able to go through that, because it's awesome, And so I'm trying to help whoever out there needs to hear this. And I know there's a lot of you that care, and I know that there's a lot of you that will hear this. And I know there's a lot of you that are going to go and do great things. I know that you're not alone and be able to like recover from it. But anyways, hang in there. Before I have another allergy attack, I'm going to go ahead and sign out of this thing. I love all of you guys. I will talk to you all again soon. Hopefully I won't start it again at 3 a.m. right before I have a billion other responsibilities I have to do before my kids wake up and drive me insane. I love them, but oh my God. They've got more energy than me.